Okay, I'm going to help you with the assignment Plate Boundaries of Silverwaristan, and if you click right here you can see the map. Silverwaristan is an imaginary place, and on this map we can see lots of features like the red stars are volcanoes. Volcanoes are formed at a subduction zone, which is when two plates are running into each other but one is more dense, so it sinks down into the mantle. It melts down there, and then the hot rock, melted rock, rises and forms a volcano. So subduction zones form volcanoes. The green triangles represent mountains. That's at a convergent boundary where two plates are crashing into each other and they're piling up to form a mountain. And then down the middle we have a mid-ocean ridge, which is formed at a divergent boundary. A divergent boundary is when two plates pull apart from each other. Magma from the mantle rises to fill the empty space, and then the second it hits the cold ocean water, it cools and forms new rock. One thing that we didn't mark on here is earthquakes. Earthquakes happen at transform boundaries, so that would be when you have two plates sliding past each other. They get stuck and they build up all this tension, and then they slip past each other, and that's what causes an earthquake. So we don't have earthquakes on here, but we have mountains, volcanoes, and an ocean ridge. I'm going to help you with a couple of these questions. So let's start with number 1. Are the land of spoons and the northern land of forks moving toward or away from each other? Let's find those places. The land of spoons is over here, and the northern land of forks is right here. Well, we can see that in between them is a mid-ocean ridge. We know that mid-ocean ridges form when at a divergent boundary, when two plates are pulling apart from each other. Magma comes up and fills the empty space, cools when it hits the cold ocean water, and it forms new crust. But these two places would be pulling apart from each other. So let's go ahead and type that for number 1. And we need to do a complete sentence. So I'm going to say the land of spoons and the northern land of forks are moving away from each other because there is a divergent boundary between them. And we know a divergent boundary is when the plates pull apart. The next question is, will the Isle of Napkins get closer to or farther away from the southern land of forks in the future? We've got the Isle of Napkins right here and the southern land of forks right here. I'll let you go ahead and answer that one on your own. Next, why are there mountains in the middle of the northern land of forks? So they're talking about these mountains right here in the middle of the northern land of forks. Mountains are usually formed at a convergent boundary when two plates crash into each other, pile up, and form a mountain. We have mountains in Utah, though, not because we're on a plate boundary, because we're not, but we are on a fault line. And a fault line is like a wrinkle or like a tear in the tectonic plate, but it's not at the edge of it. So the tectonic plates are moving in other places, and then the crust gets wrinkled up over here in Utah where we are. That's where the fault line is, and that's why we have mountains. But we're not worrying so much about fault lines in this class. We're worrying about the types of plate boundaries. So let's say that these mountains were formed by a convergent plate boundary. I'm going to go ahead and type that here. The mountains in the northern land of forks were formed by a convergent boundary when two plates crashed into each other. And they're still crashing into each other. It's just that they're slowly moving against each other, moving towards each other, and they keep piling up and the mountains get higher. Okay, so the next one says, draw a sketch of the map of Silverwaristan and draw in where you think the plate boundaries are. Now this is sort of a detailed map. You do not have to make your sketch this detailed. If I was you, I would just draw a blob for the land of spoons. You don't need to add all this detail. Same with the land of knives. Just draw a blob. For all these continents, just draw a blob. That keeps it simple. It doesn't have to be detailed. I'm up here in the corner, so look up here in the corner where I am, and I'll show you. I know it's really small, but I'll show you the map that I drew. So I just drew blobs for the continents. Those are the bluish, blackish lines. And then the red lines are where I think the tectonic plate boundaries probably are. And you know where the tectonic plate boundaries are because more things happen at the plate boundaries. There would be more volcanoes, more earthquakes, more ocean ridges. All that stuff happens at plate boundaries. So just looking at this map, you can guess where the plate boundaries probably are. I'll let you do that on your own, but then go ahead and insert a picture of that here. I'll let you do the next one on your own. I think you know that one. Why are so many volcanoes found in the same places? Why aren't they spread more evenly across the map? Well, we know that volcanoes, these red stars, are formed at a subduction zone where two plates are crashing into each other. One sinks underneath the other one because it's more dense. It melts down there, and then the hot magma rises and forms a volcano. Now, there's not subduction zones all over this map, so there are not volcanoes all over the map either, because the volcanoes are only occurring where the subduction zones are. So I'm going to go ahead and type that right now. Volcanoes are found in the same places on the map because they are formed by subduction zones. This is when one plate slides under another, melts, and the hot melted rock rises and forms a volcano. Since there are not subduction zones everywhere, there are not volcanoes everywhere. So volcanoes are found in the same places on the map because they are formed by subduction zones. This is when one plate slides under another, melts, and the hot melted rock rises and forms a volcano. Since there are not subduction zones everywhere, there are not volcanoes everywhere. And then I'll let you go ahead and do the other two on your own, but hopefully that was helpful for you, and good luck.